head high. Don't you let them see you cry. That's what my mama told me.
So I'm here with Michael Thornton, who is the director of KSM Telecoms. Thank you, Michael, for joining us. Could we start with what it stands for? Because that really warms my heart.
Yeah, for sure. So KSM Communications Limited trades as KSM Telecom.
Right.
And we're an IT and communications business, a Microsoft certified silver partner. So we're all things IT and comms. And KSM stands for Carly, which is my daughter. She's very much the financial brains behind the business. And she's a real inspiration. I'm not allowed to do anything that involves a calculator, you see.
Okay.
Suzanne, my wife, and Michael, which is me. I'm last. I know my position in life, so Michael at the end.
Oh, thank you. And you've not been going for long, have you?
No.
In the scale of things, given what you've achieved?
No, we haven't. I guess we've achieved some things, but we've been going about just over 6 years now. I retired 7 years ago and soon got very bored. And decided that after 20 years in telecoms, I might just as well start my own telecom business.
Yeah.
So.
But it sounds like, from what you were saying earlier on, it sounds like it was actually being done with a different focus.
Yeah, my industry is synonymous. IT and comms is synonymous with 7-year leases, expensive contracts for stuff you don't really need, high cost of entry, punitive clauses that means you can't escape or get out of that contract. And I wanted to do everything differently, so we only have short-term agreements, like 1, 2 and 3 years.
Okay.
We give all our handsets and equipment away. We don't charge for that, so the cost of entry is near zero. And you know, if you ever need an engineer to come to site, there's no call-out fees. We don't charge for installation, for training, for support. And so we really turn the model on its head as to how IT and telecoms works. And well, I can say it's doing very well. I think
That's
people like that approach.
You must be proud of that.
I am.
How actually you've got a very different approach to how.
Yeah, I am. It's made a real difference, I think, to a lot of companies. And we've grown substantially in those last few years. We've got 9 people in total in the business now and still growing, still recruiting. Yeah. And we're able to offer, I think, a really great service to our commercial customers over here. Yeah. Whilst we look after all our charity customers with a really exciting proposition.
And you were telling me about your charity work earlier on, and I was trying to figure out how you fit it all in.
Yeah.
Would you mind just giving us a little bit more of an insight? So as KSM, as an organisation, what is it you do charity-wise?
So charity-wise, we support a lot of charities that, you know, they earn all their money, frontline money, hard money to support the people that they're looking after. Yeah. And what our view to life is that they should spend that money on the people they are looking after. So for charities, we have a very good proposition which says that, you know, you're not going to be tied into any long-term agreements. You can have a rolling 30-day agreement with us. Yeah. We'll still provide you the equipment free of charge, give you all the support that you need. Yeah. And if you ever need any help above and beyond sort of the everyday things that you need, like a bit of IT support or whatever, then we'll come and do that. We'll do that free of charge. We won't charge you for that. So we're a real strong believer in the charity sector and how we can help that. And we've got a fair number of charities, some big name charity customers on board now, and we're pleased that we look after them.
That's brilliant. And all from Portsmouth, KSM?
Yeah, largely. But we have some out the region. KSM has a national reach, but you know, a lot of our charity work is in the confines, if you like, the city of Portsmouth, Hampshire, because that's where we can directly influence whilst being on the doorstep.
Impact.
Yeah.
And within that, you just mentioned that actually you were director of Shaping Portsmouth as well. Love you, Shaping Portsmouth.
So I get to work with Steph, who you know, Steph Ninaltovsky, and I'm really excited about.
I can never say his name. Say again.
Ninaltovsky. And
I just call him Mr. Steph.
Him.
Save grace.
Yeah, we'll just go with Steph. All right, Steph. And essentially, I'm a non-executive director of Shaping Portsmouth. I'm also a trustee of Pompey Community. Okay. So I get to work with the fabulous Claire Martin a great deal, and we do a lot across the educational sector as well. So I work with Havant and South Downs College with work placement, tea placement students. We support apprenticeship programs and things. So I get to work with inspirational people in the city, you know, like Claire Martin, Mike Gaston, Aaron Butson and people like that. So our community reach is not just to charities, it's to the educational sector and things.
And I adore what you said earlier on about, you alluded to how actually when you go into those educational settings, you go in harnessed with a set of values to challenge them with in terms of what their future impact will have on their community. I love that.
Yeah.
Can you say a little bit more about what you said earlier on about...
Well, shall I talk about St Luke's Church? St Luke's Church, which is run by the Reverend Annie McCabe.
She's lovely.
I call her Reverend Annie Oakley, but her two pistols are two crosses, I think. And St Luke's Church, as you may well know, Ronnie, was shut for years, 6-7 years. And 3 or 4 years ago, Annie McCabe came in, opened those doors, welcomed the community in from, the wards that are surrounding that area. As you well know, Summerstown's a very poor area of the city. And the great work that they do is quite amazing. And so we help them with all their AV and their installation work for the church and everything. And we don't charge for that kind of thing. And it gives them the infrastructure there to be able to provide some of the things they do for the community. So we have St Michael's Church, All Saints Church, St Luke's, St Andrew's that we support. A whole number of charities, over 20 now that we work with. And it's about giving back, and I talk on subjects such as the subject I talk on in the community at various educational settings, etc., called You, Your Business and the Community. And what I talk about is encouraging you, people, businesses, their business to help in the community and how we can make a difference to the community. And if you take St Luke's as an example, if you go there and you can see some of the great work that's been done for the youth of that area, it just gives you a warm feeling. And if it's a half a day of your month or whatever, do you know what? It makes you feel good.
Oh, it's brilliant. Thank you. On behalf of Portsmouth.
And then we have the Monaco Appeal.
Tell me about the Monaco Appeal, because that's such a testament to the person, Monica.
Yeah, my mum was 93 when she passed away a couple of years ago from Alzheimer's. I found it very difficult to talk about that for quite some time. The trauma of losing her to Alzheimer's was quite difficult. I sat with her as she passed, along with my sister, and that's not an experience I wish on anybody. But Mum spent her life working for the community, the church, people like that, local charities, and that's when I sat with my co-directors at Shaping and Steph and what have you, and said, look, we need to deliver a charity programme to the city where we can ask for resource for time, not money, because everyone's always got the hand out for money to companies, but we want companies with a social interest policy or a corporate social responsibility programme to say that they can lend us time, people, so that we can go out to the charity community and say, look, listen, do you need an electrician, a plumber or whatever, a gardener, whatever it is, and we can supply that. And we called it the Monaco Appeal in memory of my mum's name, because she did so much for the community. And it allows me to be able to talk about it without getting all emotional, because now I feel there's a purpose to what I do with that.
Yeah, what a legacy.
Thank you
for sharing that. The awards, we're really grateful for your support. What drew you to it, as it were?
I get to work, and I think I've mentioned at least one already, I get to work with some really amazing, inspirational women in this city. I've heard so much about you, Ronnie, and I think that's probably legendary in itself. But you've also got people like Claire Martin, the Chief Officer of Pompey in the community, that I'm blessed to be a trustee of that organisation. And Sandy, I always want to say Sandy O'Neill, but she's married, bless her. Sorry, Sandy Bramley, who's the Chief Officer of Citizens Advice Bureau in Portsmouth, and other women like those two that are a real inspiration. And I see what they do for the city, for the youth, for people that have need. And when I heard about I'd heard of it before, the Inspirational Women of Portsmouth Awards, but when I heard more and more about it recently, I thought, you know what, I want to be part of that. I want KSM to sponsor that, to be there on the night and to see some of the achievements of some of these great people. And I think the community thanks you, Ronnie, for bringing that to the forefront, because we need to talk about it more.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for your support.
That's fine.
Brilliant. I mean, it's because of you, we can do things like offer tickets to people within marginalised communities. It wouldn't happen without sponsors. And we've got the whole kind of performance element that wouldn't happen without sponsors as well. So thank you.
No, you're very welcome, Ronnie.
It's been great hearing about KSM. Thank you very much. I'll see you on the night.
Well, I look forward to that, and I think when we look at the people in our city, the women that are doing so many great things, it's going to be a great evening. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Ronnie.